Hello, this is Susan Galinsky.
And I'm Denise Grace, and we're the founders of G Squared. So for the best information on how you can have a successful retirement, be sure and subscribe to our YouTube channel and click the notification bell so we can notify you anytime we upload a new video. Do you have a clear written plan, or do you have a junk drawer or a file full of statements on various investments, savings accounts, etc.? Well, by the end of this video, you'll understand the importance of having an actual written plan that will get you to retirement, through retirement, and more important, give you that peace of mind that you deserve. And really what's most important in retirement is having income. And it shouldn't depend on the market, it should actually depend on math.
Math?
So, yeah, math. And it's not as tough as you would think. It all starts with dividing your assets up into 3 buckets. So why don't you gather all of those statements and start dividing them, sorting them into the 3 different piles.
Okay, and those 3 different buckets are safety, income, and growth. So why do we say safety, income, and growth? Well, emergencies do come up. So we want a safety bucket. We all know unexpected expenses can happen, car breaks, whatever. The second is income, and that is fulfilling your lifestyle needs. So all of those expenses that come in monthly that are part of living is where that income bucket comes in. And then the third bucket is growth. Growth, obviously, because we want to combat things like market up and downs, but more importantly, inflation. So let's look at an example of a couple who are in their 60s, they're nearing retirement, they've saved $1 million. You think, well, that's a nice little nest egg, right? So let's take that $1 million and divide it into 3 different buckets, okay? Because we actually need a physical document, and this is very important. Like Denise said, you know, you don't just want to have a file folder full of statements and we're not sure what's in them, why they're there, what's their purpose. So we want to divide it into the 3 buckets. So the first bucket that we're going to look at is
the safety bucket.
Right.
And we all know those unexpected emergencies come up. You know, the roof leaks, the water heater breaks like Susan just went through, unexpected car repairs, etc. So we typically will ask our clients, what number do you feel comfortable with as having available for an emergency, and the emergency bucket or the safety bucket? And while we, you know, offer our guidance, it's really up to them, because it's, you know, whatever makes you feel comfortable. You know, so in our example, you know, this client said, you know, $50,000 seems like an appropriate amount to keep in an investment or maybe a savings account, a money market, where they can maybe keep up with or hedge inflation, but more important, that money is readily available when they need it.
Absolutely. So in our example with this couple, we've said that they're going to need $6,000 a month for their lifestyle needs, their income needs. And this is where we suggest that they would purchase a couple fixed indexed annuities, we call them personal pensions, that would address that. Because what we have to factor in is inflation and taxes. So we want to make sure that this couple, as they continue to live their hopefully a long retirement, that they have income to cover that, and that they don't have to decrease or you know, downsize their lifestyle because they don't have enough income coming in later years.
Right. And it's not that they need that income annuity or that personal pension to cover all of their expenses. What we'll do is factor in what guaranteed checks do they have coming in already. Typically, couples, they're each going to have a Social Security check. They may or may not have a pension. So we, you know, again, math. What do they have coming in? What do they need? What is that gap? And then we use the pension concept to fill in that gap.
Right. And in this example, this couple, let's assume that they're bringing in $4,000 in Social Security a month. We said that they need $6,000. So we have a $2,000 gap. And that's where we can take some of that retirement savings and purchase some fixed indexed annuities to address that $2,000
Right.
gap. And now we know then that they've got guaranteed money coming in every month that's going to cover those expenses. So we've covered safety, we've covered income. Now let's look at growth.
So the last bucket, the third bucket, is growth. You know, we don't want to have all of their money tied up in annuities. We also need that bucket that is going to hopefully meet or beat inflation
Right.
and give them some growth. It also gives them a bucket that they can dip into when they want to, for travel, for trips, to visit the grandchildren.
Play checks.
Play checks,
Yep.
exactly.
Yep.
And since we've already got their income needs met,
And
this
safety.
money and safety, this money is there for them when they need it for those play checks. And while we don't, take the Las Vegas approach, we realize retirees need to be somewhat conservative. So we help you build an investment portfolio that will accomplish that. We find that a lot of people still have their money tied up maybe in a 401k. And 401ks, unfortunately, they have a lot of downsides to them. You don't have as many investment options. And a lot of people kind of go on autopilot. And in fact, if you don't watch that money, if you don't have somebody, if not you, overseeing those investments,
Right.
you could end up in what they call a buttload of hurt.
Yeah.
I've met with clients, I'll remember when General Motors.
I think before you talk about GM, I think what we're trying to emphasize here is in today's world, people don't work at the same company for 30 years anymore. So you may have been worked here for 10 years, went over here for 10 years, so you might have a few old 401ks sitting around. And to Denise's point, they're no longer on your radar screen. They're over there, they're sitting there, and sometimes, like Denise said, if you're not watching, and talk about like the General Motors example.
Well, General Motors, I know it was several years ago, but a lot of us still remember it. We had clients that were invested in GM stock within their 401k. All of a sudden, GM declared bankruptcy. Those 401k dollars were gone. Zip, nothing, nada. And if people had paid attention to it or potentially worked with us back then, we would have caught that before tragedy happened to them.
Yeah.
So, a lot of people, they just, they don't know what they have, why they have it, what fees they're paying.
Right.
And, we talk about the function of the money. What is the function of the money that you have invested? What is the function of those mutual funds? And again, it's
that brings up a really good point, which is that probably 90% of people that we meet with, we'll ask them, why is this money in the market? What is its purpose? What are you paying in a management fee? What is it allocated to, or what is it for? And 90% of the people give us a blank look.
They're
not
clue.
sure.
Yeah.
So in summary, this is why it's important for you to gather all those statements. Sit down with financial professionals like ourselves. And let's have that discussion about those three buckets and the allocation of what should be in each. And it's really easy. Just go ahead, and we have a Calendly link down at the bottom here that you can just click on and do a 15-minute strategy session with us, and we can work together to give you that peace of mind that comes with knowing that you've got a written plan with
an
clear,
actual document you
Right.
can hold in your hand.
clear, concise direction of what things are going to look like in retirement. And there's been a lot of studies done on this too that shows that couples who do have that written plan and do have those personal pensions, they tend to live longer and a lot less stress, and that's what retirement should really be about. So to that point, we'll close today, and as usual, please share this video with your family and friends. Give us a like, and remember that we appreciate you, and at G Squared, we believe that it's important to build relationships
Beyond
beyond investing.
investing.
Thank you.